Hey, everybody. So let's have a quick conversation. I ain't going to keep you guys long, and I'm going to play some clips for you, okay? So, what we have found is that we have this transgender movement, okay? If you're transgender and your feelings is hurt, I don't know what to tell you, but I think it is one of the most ridiculous movements that we have ever seen in this country thus far, okay? And apparently, I'm not the only one that thinks that, okay? I'm going to play you some clips of what the current administration thinks about this movement, and then I'm going to play you a clip of what the new administration has to say about how they're going to deal with this movement. Now, before we get into those clips, though, I just want to reiterate and run down some of the things that we see, okay? We have this movement of transgenders. I find it really interesting that in this movement, you don't really see too many women trying to take over men's spaces, right? But you do see a bunch of men trying to take over all the women's spaces. They're fighting to say they should be able to fight in sports when it comes to women because they're a woman too. They have then taken away regular women's rights to be called a woman, and they want to call us cis women. I don't know what the fuck wrong with y'all, but I'm a woman, and I don't appreciate somebody just giving me a name that I did not ask for. They want to go into women's bathrooms and have the right to do that. Although we have found that plenty of men have used this as an excuse to put on a Halloween cheap ass party store wig and their grandmother's church dress and a little bit of lipstick with a beard and all to go into bathrooms to watch little girls. Okay. So then we see from that perversion that they've taken this movement into the schools. They want to pervert our children. They want to tell our children, you can be any gender you want to be. It doesn't matter what you were born as. It doesn't matter about any logical reasoning. We're just going to play pretend. And the sickness in our mind, we're going to want everybody else to agree with us. Okay. So here they are teaching children that you don't have to be a boy if you're a boy. You don't have to be a girl if you're a girl. Understand that children are also the most vulnerable age of conditioning when they're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and you're putting these things in their head. They're going to assume that this is the way life should be. So they will then start to take on perspectives that actually are not their own, but a perspective that has been implanted inside of them, right? So I, for one, I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of the transgender movement. And I am really glad that Trump is going to do something about it. Okay. Now, let's be clear for everybody who's going to get your little panties in a bunch, sir, ma'ams. Get your panties in a bunch. Let me explain something to you. I don't care what you want to do in your life. You can play dress up like Silence of the Lamb. You can tuck your stuff. You can cut it off. You can put on a wig. You can change your name from Tyrone to Pamela. I do not care. What I have a problem with, and I think that most people do in this country, is where you scream, we want rights, but it seems like your rights that you want seem to tread on everybody else's rights. Like, you want the right for you to be able to do what you want to be accepted so bad that you are going to pervert our children's and our schools. You think that your rights matter so much that women and young girls should not have the right to go to the bathroom and feel safe without sir ma'ams coming into the bathroom for very heinous reasons. Not because they really want to use the women's bathroom, because they think they're a woman, right? You think that your rights are so important that you take away the right of a woman, a natural born woman, okay? A woman, baby. And now you gonna tell me you came up with a name for me. We're not allowed to give you names that you don't like. Y'all call that, oh, inconsiderate. You call it homophobic. You say that we're doing something wrong to you, but then you're going to tell me that I'm a cis woman? No, sis, I'm just a woman. How about that? So it seems real interesting to me. We cannot then breastfeed or talk about breastfeeding. When you write articles on things of that nature, we have to now call it chest feeding so we can include you. Now, I don't know about y'all, but any sick grown man, and let's be clear, something's sick and wrong with you that will let a baby latch onto your chest and suck on your chest when there is no milk that's going to come out. That is actually child abuse and very perverted, because the child actually sucks onto a woman's breast so that it can get food and nourishment. When a child is not hungry, we give it a pacifier. So the only person that is getting anything from it is the perverted man that is allowing the child to suck on their chest. And that child is looking for nourishment and nothing comes out. For anybody who thinks that this stuff is okay, something is wrong with you. So I want to play this clip for you guys. I'm going to show you what Kamala had to say, right? And the last administration, who seems to think that this shit is just okay when it's not. Kamala actually wanted to allow prison inmates who are transgenders to have a sex change. Now, I don't know about you, but in prison, they barely feed you right. I mean, today is Christmas, and I'm sure that they got the most disgusting Christmas dinner ever. You don't have no rights to be treated with luxury in there. So now the state and taxpayers' dollars are supposed to pay for sex changes in prison. Like, can a woman go to prison and ask for the state to pay for her boob job? Or maybe she could get a BBL. Like, what kind of sense would that make? But you want us to pay for men to get sex changes so that they can become women while they're in prison, and that's supposed to be their right. This is the most retarded, ridiculous, nonsensical, illogical. I don't know. Y'all give me some more damn words in the comment section. Ridiculous shit I have ever heard in my life. So let's listen to what Cackling Kamala had to say. For so many of y'all that wanted this woman to be president, you knew that you would keep continuing to enforce this sick, perverted agenda on our children, but yet y'all want to cry about abortions and women having that right. Seems like to me the folks who believe in what this administration was saying and wanted Kamala to be in the White House, you don't seem to care very much about our children, do you? Because you're crying about the right to be able to abort your children, and that seemed to be such a big deal for y'all, and you don't really care that our children are being perverted in the school system either, do you? So anyway, let's listen to Cackle Kamala, and then we'll come back and we'll hear what Trump has to say.
Case. And when I learned about the case, I worked behind the scenes to not only make sure that that transgender woman got the services she was deserving. So it wasn't only about that case. I made sure that they changed the policy in the state of California so that every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access to the medical care that they desired and need.
This is the ignorance that so many of y'all wanted to vote for. I don't know. I need somebody to explain that to me. It's amazing how y'all overlook the ridiculousness of this woman and the things that she's put out. We're not even going to get into all of the other stuff. This alone is ridiculous, okay? So this is what she is fighting for. I don't understand why this is okay with anybody who has some sense, okay? Now we're getting ready to look at what Trump had to say, and then we're going to end this video. But before we do, let me say this to everybody, okay? When it comes to Trump being in the White House, I've said this many, many times before. There's no president or administration that is going to do everything that you want them to do, okay? Especially as Black people. They're not going to do nothing you really want them to do for you, but some of the things that they will do will definitely affect you in a positive way or a negative way, right? And some of those things can be positive if they're not, even if they're not directly directed towards you. Meaning when Trump got rid of the immigrants last time, he didn't do that for Black people, but it had a direct effect on you in a positive way because your unemployment rate for Black people went down tremendously because it had an effect on your job market for Black people, okay? You can argue if you want to. These are just facts. So as this next administration takes place, there is some things that I won't agree with that Trump is going to do, but there are some things that I'm going to tell you that I am ecstatic about, okay? And that would be getting rid of these damn immigrants in our country, one, and two, doing something about this perverted agenda when it comes to what they're doing to our children in our country. For this place to be so free, I am offended that a group of people think their rights matter so much that you're going to change the whole English language, and your rights matter so much that we have to all play into your delusion or something is wrong with us. Your rights matter so much that what you're doing actually takes away other people's rights. So I'm here for everything that the orange man is getting ready to say. And with that said, y'all have a good night, and I'll see you on the next video or the next live.
With the stroke of my pen on day one, we're going to stop the transgender lunacy. And I will sign executive orders to end child sexual mutilation, get transgender out of the military and out of our elementary schools and middle schools and high schools. And we will keep men out of women's sports. And that will likewise be done on day one. Should I do day one, day two, or day three? How about day one, right? Under the Trump administration, it will be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. Doesn't sound too complicated, does it?